So you're thinking about moving to Austin, Texas, and you're interested in new construction? Well, on today's video, we're gonna be talking about all new construction, specifically where to find some deals, and also if you're thinking about building from the ground up, how to go about it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Julio Monagas here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel, bienvenidos to the channel. On today's video, we are gonna be focusing on new construction and how to go about it. But before we get started, let's talk about some of the differences between resale homes or used homes and then new construction. Now, with resale homes, you'd be surprised, but a lot of people like that established look. So meaning mature trees, a lot of amenities around you, established school district, which is very important. Now, on the new construction side, it's usually in a new area where you have younger trees and maybe not as many amenities. So you may have to go a little bit outside of town, but at the rate that things are growing around Austin, you have everything with 10 to 15 minutes, meaning, you know, the grocery store, restaurants, movie theaters, everything you need is gonna be very close by. Now, lastly, I'll mention with a resale home, keep in mind that you may have some delayed maintenance. If the home is 20 to 30 years old, you may have to consider replacing the HVAC, the roof. You may have some foundation issues, as opposed to a brand new home where you may not have any issues for 5 to 10 years down the line. However, it always happens with new construction. It's not a perfect home and it's not perfect humans building the home. You're still gonna have some issues. Okay, so let's get started talking about new construction and the different options that you're gonna have if you're thinking about building a home here in Austin. There are two options. You have an inventory or a quick move-in home versus a to-be-built or building from the ground up. Before we talk about the differences, let's talk about how to get some deals, because everybody likes some deals, right? Every year, every single builder is motivated to sell these homes, especially if they're completed. So when it comes to the slow months, quote unquote, we're talking about November, December, maybe even into January, builders are usually extremely motivated to get these off the inventory because they need some capital to potentially move on to the next section. So the way that you find some deals is usually around that time, starting in October, November, December into January. A lot of the times they're giving you crazy incentives where they pay for all your closing costs. They offer lower rates. So this could be a good opportunity for you to get some deals. But remember, we're talking about an inventory home where everything has been pre-selected for you and you don't have the option to change anything in the home. So speaking of the differences between inventory and to-be-built homes, keep in mind with the inventory homes, whether the home is priced at $300,000, $600,000, or even $1 million, it has already been pre-selected by an in-house designer. And again, I've said it already before, but you cannot change anything in the home. Some communities and some builders will allow you to maybe change the color on the outside, change the elevation, which is the facade on the front, but for the most part, you're not allowed to change anything. But if this is something that you don't mind, if you go to a community, you see the floor plan, you see the layout, you see what it looks like on the outside and you like it, this is a great opportunity to get a deal. On the flip side, if you're looking at a to-be-built home, you have to go to the design center and you can get up to $100,000, maybe even more on design options. So if you don't have a ton of self-control, this may not be the best option for you, and inventory might be the way to go. So with inventory homes, you will have a selection from 8 to 10 floor plans ranging anywhere from 1,200 square feet all the way up into the 4,000 square feet, depending on the community. With the to-be-built homes, you also have the same ability to pick whatever floor plan you got. Going back to inventory, these homes have already been selected to a specific lot, meaning that you may not have the option to select a greenbelt lot or a corner lot or a cul-de-sac lot. So you have a little bit less freedom. But if you don't mind all these details, inventory home might be the way to go. Okay, now let's talk about the fun part. If you want to design your own home, pick everything in it, the to-be-built option is probably the best option for you. So basically, you go to a community. Usually every community will have anywhere from 3 to 5 builders. Make sure that you go and visit every single builder to see what kind of floor plans and options they have and pick the best one for you. After you select the builder, you will go on to select the floor plan, whether you want a 1-story home, a 2-story home. Then after you select the floor plan, you will go on to select your lot and exactly where you want it on the community. Now, one thing I'll comment on when it comes to picking your lot, don't be afraid to spend that little bit of extra money for the premium lots, because not only does it make sense from a financial perspective when it comes to resale, but when you're building your dream home, you want everything to be perfect as it can be, including the location of the home in the community. So you can build any home you want because they have different floor plans, but the land won't change. In fact, I have clients that waited 4 months before a new section opened up with a lot that they wanted, which was a cul-de-sac lot with a green belt behind them, in order to get the lot that they wanted. So don't take this for granted and take your time in picking the right lot for you. Now you've selected your lot, let's talk about structural upgrades. Builders usually will have anywhere from 5 to 10 options for you to select. And what do I mean by structural upgrades? Let's say that you want to add a bay window to your master bedroom to make it look more spacious. Let's say that you want to add a covered patio. Let's say that you want to actually add some height to the ceilings, or you want to add an extra bedroom. All these are very important. And why are they important? Because you can't really go back after you build a home and make these changes. A lot of these changes affect the frame, the foundation, and a lot of these changes may affect the height of the ceiling. So make sure that you select them at the right time, which is usually before you go to the design center. We usually recommend that you max out on the structural options, obviously within reason. There are some things that just don't seem necessary, but when it comes to the big stuff, make sure that you actually are willing to put this extra money, because it'll pay you back in the long run. Up next, the design center. So after you have picked your floor plan, you have picked your lot, you have picked the structural upgrades, you go on to the design center, where you're gonna pick everything from the tile, the carpet, the color of the walls, the color of the bathrooms, anything and everything in between. A lot of it is up to you, right? So what do you really want in the home? What kind of finishes do you want in the home? What I'm gonna talk about next is some of the things that maybe you should avoid. That way it'll save you some money. When you go into that design center, make sure that you have a budget. I've had clients that really didn't set a budget and they end up spending more than $60,000, $100,000. So make sure that you talk to your wife or husband or significant other and set a budget and stick to it. So when it comes to the budget, these are the things to keep in mind. You have a base price of the home, of that specific floor plan. Then you'll have a lot premium, which is anywhere from $30,000 to maybe even $50,000, depending on the lot. Obviously, you'll have the upgrades, but now let's talk about some things to avoid at the design center. Number one, the wiring. A lot of these builders will present to you this awesome wiring options in the house, whether it's the sound system or category 5 and 6 outlets. Nowadays, we don't really need them unless you work a lot from home or you do a lot of computer work. You don't really need these things because we stream everything. Everything is wireless. So unless you really need it, some of these upgrades can cost you up to $2,000 or $3,000. So I would say it's better to save that money for something else. Number two, light fixtures. And I know a lot of people like these, but builders will tend to just crank up the prices on these. And honestly, you can just pick the basic option when you go to the design center. After you close, you can just go online, pick the ones that you actually want for a lesser price. So to wrap up, I would really spend my money on the lot premium, meaning the actual lot that you want, whether it's a greenbelt lot, cul-de-sac lot, corner lot, and then the structural upgrades, because you cannot go back and change the framing of the house. Everything else, it's up to you on what you really want. New construction is actually one of my favorite options to help clients with. In fact, last year we helped over 60 families get into a new construction home, so we know it very well. If you have any questions about what to ask the builders, please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll be more than happy to help you. And remember, here in the state of Texas, it doesn't cost you a dime to work with a buyer's agent. In fact, the builder pays our commission or the seller pays our commission. So it's awesome to just have a guide that will help you every step of the way. So whether you want to build from the ground up or you want to pick an inventory home that's ready to go, we have actually helped over 60 families in the last 12 months get into a new construction home. And I really enjoy new construction because of everything that it has to offer. You have the 1 year, the 2 year, and the 10-year warranties. The home is brand new. If you're building from the ground up, you get to make it your own. If you need to move right away, you have an inventory option where they can be ready in 30 to 45 days. So you have a lot of options with new construction. And I truly enjoy helping families get into these type of homes. So if you're thinking about moving in the next 30 days, 6 months, or a year from now, don't hesitate to reach out and we'll be more than happy to walk walk you through the process of getting a new home. We know what questions to ask. We know where the new communities are coming up. This is something that we do every single day. And again, we'd be more than happy to help you. And also make sure to leave a comment below so that you let me know which one you prefer. Do you prefer going for a to-be-built home or do you prefer an inventory home? And before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that bell so that you're alerted when a new video comes out. And guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I truly enjoy helping people get into a new construction home, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, I know I've said it already. Patrick, keep me in check. I'm sure I've said it many times, but don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Even if you just have a simple question, I'm more than happy to help you through this process. As always, my name is Julio Monagas here in Austin, Texas, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios. Had it. Well,